Hello, I am the True Party King, the archiccultist of the Mind Palace. Welcome to this week's question of fast. I have come off of a 75-hour fast, and I would love to divulge everything that I have learned from the fast. First off is, why does fast seem to have such dualistic definitions? Because of anything. Fast being quick seems so contrary to the solemnness of fasting, of choosing to not consume something, whatever it is you're choosing to fast from. It's so contradictory, yet in my new understanding, I understand the fact that the definitions are actually one and the same, because the very need for a word to define fasting is a shame. But it's totally understandable at the same time, considering our current levels of consciousness, our ability to perceive things, and our wantingness to put words on things. The fact that we need to put a word on fasting is interesting, I would say. Just interesting. It's interesting. But the best way to break down something that's interesting, in my opinion, is in the past, present, and future. So let's delve first into the past of fast. The past of fast has roots in Judaism, Christianity, Muslimism, Buddhism, everything. Islam, that's what I meant to say. But I feel like everything should be in Islam. It's so interesting how every one of these ancient teachers seemed to have that understanding that we should be fasting, at least during holy times, at least during certain seasons, so that we can understand that we really don't need things that we think we need when we are not fasting, when we are comfortable in consuming. We also grow dependent. And that is probably my best guess as to why fasting is so important to so many cultures, so many religions, is because it delves into our very nature of being, our very question of where did we come from? What are we doing here? Why are you listening to this crazy person talking about this thing? Is answered as best as it can be answered, as best as you're willing to be perceiving of that knowledge, through fasting, through depriving yourself of everything. You gain so much understanding. Instead of trying to seek the understanding, instead of trying to claim it, go after it, be fast about it, go get it. No. Hold steadfast, and everything you'd ever want is yours. So that leads to the present fast. The fact that rooted in the past of fast. We have so much history. And the fact that I can be talking about fasting is rooted in this present moment, which is beautiful. But it is still a limitation, because from my understanding of fasting, I just want to fast more. Like, I'm upset that I have to eat with my family tomorrow, but it is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, because the only reason why I embarked upon this journey of fasting to begin with was rooted in my understanding that it would come to an end. Because if I were to give any advice to someone who is interested in perhaps doing a fast too, how long can you go without food, you might ask? The things that I would say, the knowledge that I would give, is to have a set path, a set journey that you're going on. Say, okay, this is my last meal. I'm going to make it a banger of a meal. It's going to be the best meal. For me, yeah, it was like pizza, eggs, everything. It was just like a whole big splatter fest of deliciousness. And from that, I also had to set up the future. Where is it going? How long am I fasting for? Because from each sequential day that passed in this fast, it became so hard, especially after the second day. That was the hardest. But the third day, it was easy. Today, it is so easy. I was like, I have to eat food today? Oh, darn. But it was because I laid forth this 3-day pattern of, all right, not going to eat today or tomorrow or the next day, that I was able to arrive at this understanding that perhaps we don't even need to eat at all. Maybe we don't need to eat at all. Maybe. Maybe we can all just live off of breath. Because from my understanding of the future of fast, it should be as seamless as breath. Because when you breathe, it's an action. But to breathe is a state of being. It is something you do without even noticing. And as such, that is the future of fast. Is a future where it's like, yeah, I'm fasting. The fact that I even need to tell you I'm fasting is kind of silly. Like you're being really silly over here. If you're asking me, what am I doing? Why am I not eating? It's because I'm steadfast. I'm steadfast in a belief that even though everything I'm saying in this podcast might be complete gibberish and my mind might be splattered into 50 different directions, it's only because of the limitations of my words being my thoughts being transmitted into words being then transmitted into this speaker and these monitors and all the other things that I have to be doing at the same time. It's so complicated, but I'm holding steadfast because I know that if I don't put this out, if I don't say this, then maybe the fast was pointless. And maybe I don't deserve to go on another fast. But I think I am. So that's why I'm putting this message out there for the future of fast, and for those who choose to fast as well. Hold steadfast. Because there should just be periods where fasting is a breath of anarchism, a breath of rebellion against the need to consume. Because without needing to consume, no one has any real control over us. We have full freedom. We have full freedom. Well, to close out this podcast, I will leave you with a quote from Gandhi, who also was a big faster. He was always very steadfast in his fasting. And the quote from Mahatma Gandhi would be I'm doing it off the top of my head. Bear with me. Freedom without the freedom to make mistakes is not a free world worth having. No, I completely butchered that. But I'll put it over here. The point is, without the freedom to make this big mistake of a podcast episode that you're currently listening to, then I'm a prisoner. I'm a prisoner of myself, of something that I don't even fully understand. And I hate being a prisoner. I love being free. And the best way to be free is to be fast.